Hello everyone, this is Gene from NYC again, and I'm back with another video. A video that is being recorded at a stupidly late hour because I just got the oddest alert yet today. Today's weather, at least in my part of New York City, has been two things: ridiculously hot or thunderstorms. So it's been weird and I'm tired, but I had to make a video about this because part of me finds it funny. I don't know how to explain how I feel, but so let me get to it. But before I do, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to my video, to watch, to leave comments, to leave a like or whatever, to subscribe. Thank you so much again for your interaction and for your, taking time out of your day to listen to me ramble about some pop culture topics. So the topic of today, is still today, 1 hour left in today, of tonight's video, I guess you could say, is the casting of King Triton for the live-action Little Mermaid film. Now, perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps I made the mistake of assuming. We all know what they say about assuming, right? That it makes an ass out of you and me, right? But I really was thinking that since they had casted Halle Bailey as Ariel, that they were going to cast a character. How do I put it? I thought they were going to cast at least brown-skinned King Triton again to how do I put it? Because in the film, and forgive me, these are literally off the top of my head. I mean, my videos are always off the top of my head, but this is super off the top of my head. So if it's not focused, I apologize. But the whole thing about Ariel, right, is that first of all, right, she's part of the royal family, right, and the family is featured prominently in the film. So I was really thinking that when they casted Halle Bailey, that automatically that would mean that King Triton has to be brown now, an African American man. That's what I was thinking, and that all of Ariel's sisters now are going to be brown and Afrocentric or Afro-Caribbean, something looking like her, basically, right? Because again, they're all supposed to be related. They're all supposed to be blood-related family. So I was thinking, okay, they're probably going to hire an actor to play King Triton who looks like he could have a daughter that looks like Halle Bailey, and that her sisters, right, the casting of her sisters would follow suit to make it look like they're all part of the same family. Because again, Ariel is Triton's biological daughter, as are the rest of his daughters. So you're expecting that they at least have some vague physical similarities to one another, right? So apparently Disney's not doing that. I just got an alert on my phone, and I'll link the article, that Javier Bardem, I think his name is in talks to play King Triton. Now I want to be clear, it's in talks. He hasn't been officially cast yet. It could change. But I just find it interesting that again, Disney's even considering him. Because let's be honest, I have nothing against Javier Bardem as an actor. From what I hear, he's a fine actor. He's been in a lot of films. He typically gets villain roles from what I was reading. Right, he was the killer in Old Country for Old Men, and he was in Skyfall and all this other stuff. So he tends to play bad guys from what I was reading. So, again, I have nothing against him as an actor, but again, if we're just going by looks, and again, Ariel's supposed to look like she could possibly be descended from King Triton, right? I don't look at Halle Bailey and see how in the world Javier Bardem could possibly be her father, biologically speaking, right? So unless they're going to change the storyline a bit to say that Ariel is an adopted daughter of the royal family, that's about the only way I can think of that they could possibly in story explain this and have it make sense, is that if she's adopted, because Halle Bailey doesn't look like she could possibly be descendant from Javier Bardem. So it's so. The only thing I can think of, if they want to make this make sense in story, is either A, the Halle's version of Ariel got all of her physical appearance from her mother, or they're gonna do what they did for one of the what was it called, the Fantastic Four films, where they had Michael B. Jordan playing Johnny Storm, who is usually a white character because he's the biological brother of Sue Storm, who is white. So in that film, what they did was they said that one of them, I forget whether it was the character of Sue or was the character of Johnny, but they said that one of them was adopted. So it provided a reasonable, somewhat believable, I guess you could say, in story explanation as to why these two characters who were of different ethnic backgrounds were brother and sister, right? Adoption, that's fine. So that's the only way I can think of that they're going to try to explain this. Either Ariel's an adopted princess, she was adopted by the royal family, or they're trying to visually imply that she gets all of her looks, she gets all of her physical appearance from her mother. Because again, if your centerpiece is Halle Bailey, that would mean, at least to me, if I were casting, that everybody in the royal family, from Triton to the daughters, have to look like her, have to look like they have some physical features in common. Javier Bardem has no physical features in common with Halle Bailey. So I don't know what to say, really. I don't know what to say, really, except that I'm surprised. And honestly, especially when you look at now who's been cast thus far, right? So Javier Bardem, who again is supposed to be playing the biological father of Ariel, is in talks to be cast. Be clear. I want to be clear about that. He hasn't been confirmed. He's just in talks. But he's in talks to play King Triton. King Triton is light-skinned, even lighter than Miss Bailey herself. Right? They're keeping Prince Eric's ethnicity the same. He's going to be white. He's going to be played by Harry Styles. They've casted Melissa McCarthy as Ariel. Her race is inconsequential because Ariel's a purple-skinned octopus woman. She's not even human. Right? They've, I think, casted for the roles of Scuttle. Awkwafina's playing Scuttle, and again, her physical appearance, her race doesn't really matter because Scuttle is a bird, right? So she's going to be voice acting. So, again, her physical appearance is inconsequential to the film. And if I remember correctly, they casted a young boy to play a flounder. And again, doesn't matter because A, flounder is not related to the royal family, and B, again, flounder's a fish. So the physical appearance of the actor is inconsequential. The only role I haven't heard casted for yet of the main roles in the film is the role of Sebastian. Or if there was a casting for him, I don't know who it is. But even there, right, whatever the actor who's eventually cast looks like, it's inconsequential because he'll just be doing voice work. Right, all he's got to do is just have a Caribbean accent, and he'll be good, or she'll be good. For all we know, they may gender flip the crap. But when you think of the human or human-esque roles, right? Triton, Ariel, Eric, they've kept at least Triton's skin tone, right, the same, relatively speaking. Again, Javier is light-skinned. Right. Prince Eric is going to be played by a white British musician. I think Harry Styles is English. So, white British musician. The only one who they changed was Ariel. This is beginning to remind me a lot of the casting of the Birds of Prey. If you didn't see my video on that, watch my video on that. I worked hard on it. And B, just to give a brief summary, I did a comparison of the short list of all of the actresses, not all the actresses, but the actresses who were cast to play the Birds of Prey team. And I noted in that video how every role was there was a racial match, right? A white woman is cast to play Harley Quinn, who is white. White actresses were on the short list, and a white actress was cast to play Huntress. Huntress is white. In the comics, like who was it? Renee Montoya. She's a Latino character Latina, I should say. She's a Latina character in the comics. They had a short list of Latina actresses for the role. They eventually chose a Latina actress for the role. So everything matched up, right? The ethnicity of the actress and the ethnicity of the character all matched up until Black Canary. For the role of Black Canary, right, who is typically a white female in the comics, the short list of the actresses to play her were African American actresses, and it was an African American actress who was cast in the role of Black Canary. So this casting choice more and more for Miss Bailey to play Ariel is looking more and more and more like that. It's looking more to me that for the human-looking characters in the film, that Disney was trying to remain at least somewhat accurate to the ethnicity of the of the animated movie depiction up until Ariel, right? Again, Eric is white, being played by a white man. King Triton is, I guess you could say, white for all intents and purposes. Javier, technically by U.S. federal descriptions on race and ethnic backgrounds, he is white because he's a Spaniard. He's from Spain. He's not from Central America. For those who may not understand, in U.S. government, when it comes to definitions of ethnic groups, white and Latino are a bit different, right? And even socially, like you'll find people who say, there is no such thing as a Hispanic or a Latino because they consider them all white. But legally speaking, right, a Latino, a Latina, a Hispanic, as the term is used. I know that's offensive to some people. No offense is meant. It's just the official term used by the U.S. government. A Hispanic person is somebody who originates from or is descended from peoples in South America and in Central America, generally speaking. Whereas a quote-unquote white person is someone who is descendant from or comes from various parts of Europe, and Spain is in Europe. So Javier, being a Spaniard, would be considered white by U.S. government standards. So you have a white person playing, the King Triton, who, for all intents and purposes, is a Greek god mermaid, right? He's based on to my knowledge, he's either based on Poseidon or one of the other Greek or Roman water gods, like Poseidon or Poseidon's son, something to that effect. But it's definitely a Greek god influence to the design of King Triton, and that includes his skin tone, right? He has what we call a white skin tone, and they've casted again by federal standards a white actor to play him. They've casted a white actor to play the White Prince, right? Prince Eric. The only person they changed was Ariel. It's looking more and more like the Birds of Prey casting, which concerns me because, again, how do I put it? Again, it's just cheap pandering, right? This is especially cheap pandering, at least to me, if Disney's not even going to go through the work of trying to basically convince us, right, I was thinking at the very least they would cast according to, again, what visually speaking would make sense, right? If Ariel's meant to be a direct descendant, direct bloodline, biological descendant of King Triton, they should have the same skin tone at least. Make it look like she's descended from him. But no. If Javier gets the role, you're again just gonna have the live action version of Ariel just be the like odd person out. It's like, you know that game or that phrase, this thing is not like the other, right? Which one stands out like a sore thumb? She does. And I think that this is just going to cause, again, just unnecessary criticism for the actress. And of course, media is going to make it about race. When it's really Disney, in my opinion, that is making this all about race, especially when they won't adhere to their own changes when it comes to this casting. So again, it's just looking more just like cheap pandering, and they never had any intent to really do anything with the story or anything with the family. It was just, oh, okay, we're at least this is the way it looks to me. Oh, we're gonna leave, the human characters alone, right? Or cast as accurately as we can, with the exception of Ariel, right? We need to get woke points, so let's just arbitrarily cast Ariel as a light-skinned black woman. But at least let's find one that can sing. So there was their one thing, right? They actually found an actress that can sing. But those are my thoughts. Those are my very, 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 very rambly thoughts, and I want to be clear, right? I have nothing against Halle Bailey. I have nothing against her being Ariel. Other than that, again, if you're looking for an adaptation of 1989 Disney film, don't watch this. But objectively speaking, I have no issue with any person who has been cast for this film in and of itself, right? For me, it isn't about that. My thing is, Disney, in my opinion, is just pandering. They're not making these to me. The more I read about this, the more information that comes out, the more it looks to me that this casting was first and foremost done just to do it, just to arbitrarily race flip an iconic Disney princess for woke points. Just say, hey, here's our brown princess because Tiana isn't all that popular and y'all don't know her because we never did anything with her. And since we don't want to actually have to work, we're going to take Ariel and make her brown and you'll love us, right? Right? That's pretty much how I feel about this. And in the end, I really think this type of arbitrary casting really hurts the actress, right? Now, people, I think at least some people, are going to look at Halle Bailey and just see her, as a diversity hire, basically. And that's really not fair to her. She's talented. She should be able to display that talent, but sadly, the controversy of her casting, which is by no means her fault, is going to cast her, I think, in a very negative light. It may not happen immediately, but I do think that this is going to come back to bite her at some point in her career. And again, it's not fair. It's not fair to her at all. She didn't do anything wrong. But people are going to, at least some people, I think, are going to blame her or lash out at her. Where really, it's Disney. It's Disney doing this pandering, woke, race flipping for race flipping's sake BS. And if you want to get mad at anything, get mad at them. That's what I say. So anyway, this has gone on entirely too long. So I'm going to end it here. Those are my very rambly thoughts. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good night, and have a good day. See you around. Bye.